So what's at stake today? U.S. elections. On the one hand, we've been caught up with it in the United States for a year and a half, so it feels momentous to us. I'm not saying it doesn't matter, but we should put it in context. I was talking to a group of almost 100 CEOs, American CEOs, a few months ago, and asked with a show of hands how many of them would change their investment strategies in the United States if Trump were to win. I got no hands. I pushed harder. I finally got one. If I asked the same question about if Xi Jinping was no longer in China, Erdogan not in Turkey, or even if Putin was no longer in Russia, everyone that was thinking about investing would have a significant view there. The fact is that developed markets are more resilient, they're more stable, it's also much harder to get things done. So the needle doesn't move as much when you have a presidential election, even a presidential election with outcomes as dramatically, even unprecedentedly different as what we see in the United States right now. Having said that, there's no question that although the domestic environment will probably not move so much under a new American president, we're not going to see grand bargains on infrastructure or tax or health care that suddenly changes the way you think about the American marketplace. You are going to see a very different reaction in American footprint all over the world. We think about Trump, and the fact is that from a foreign policy perspective, the only people that support him are those that actually want the United States to do less well in terms of its projection of power. It's Putin, it's Kim Jong-un, it's Viktor Orban in Hungary, it's a bunch of populist non-leaders across continental Europe and the UK, where anyone you talk to internationally, any head of state or foreign minister or cabinet member of any American ally feels comfortable with Hillary. Even if we don't care about foreign policy, the main reason to consider Trump versus Clinton is important in the United States is what would happen if there were a crisis. We know that when the economic crisis hit in 2008, even though people said Congress can't do a damn thing, the president can't do anything, at that point, both the Bush administration and the Obama administration acted decisively in a fairly unfettered way by governmental institutions that otherwise were completely log-jammed. And you saw this with over $1 trillion of infused stimulus to bail out the banks, to bail out the auto sector. Now, we're presently facing a profound geopolitical crisis, a geopolitical recession. What would happen if suddenly there was a massive an immediate crisis, a major cyber attack, a major terrorist attack, that sort of thing? There, Trump versus Clinton managed a lot. And what we have seen, we saw the Patriot Act after 9/11. We saw what Snowden revealed in terms of American surveillance behaviors, things that don't smell good from the perspective of an advanced industrial democracy. That's when steps taken by an American president could truly undermine American values in a much more permanent way. And frankly, whether or not you care about U.S. foreign policy, that's a reason to be worried about what would happen if there were a Trump administration. Anyway, we'll find out within just a few hours. And with that, I'm Ian Bremmer.